whether you want to get into some other business right now, it's amazing how the tune of a lot of people has changed, or should I say the word tone. Their tone towards Donald Trump has changed since yesterday, and he introduced his tax package. And I think I said on the show last night that this was what I call it, a bona fide or a realistic, I forget the word I used last night. I forgot a lot about what happened last night. Oh, did I say that?
Chris, you were singing up front. You ripped your shirt off.
Was that me?
Everybody was screaming, put it back on. You remember that.
But then it was as the Washington types, the inside the Beltway types might call it a legitimate tax plan. And as I said, it sort of resembled Jeb's, but it went further than Jeb's. In several ways. And but one thing that really attracted me most about it, and there was a couple things I didn't like about it, but the one thing that attracted me most about it was the cut in the corporate income tax rate. And because we've talked about this on the show numerous times, that's one of the great things about the fair tax, right? Is that it eliminates the corporate tax. Because why? Because corporations don't pay taxes.
They shouldn't pay taxes.
Well, they just collect taxes.
They collect.
What I'm saying
is...
They
collect and remit.
Right. Any business, if you think that the business pays a tax, I don't care if it's a corporation or a mom and pop, they don't pay any taxes. It's their customers who pay the taxes because it's built into the price of their product or service, or they're not going to be in business very long. That's just business economics. And so to eliminate the corporate tax doesn't, do anything good for the corporation because they're not paying it to begin with. All it does is free up capital, and in particular, capital that's overseas.
Right. I mean, we're talking about, you look at, 35% is our corporate tax rate. And
presently, he wants to drop it to 15, which, by the way, when we've talked about this before, I said, I want to eliminate it, and you have chimed in and said, well, they probably can't do that now, but a nice cut to about 15% would be just about right.
Right, and what they're going to do, which I think this is a pretty good idea, because this involves $2.1 trillion, not billion, not million, trillion. Now, imagine when Trump said, I will generate jobs. Well, you know what? He's right. If we get that $2.1 trillion back here
from overseas,
right, they will pay a 10% penalty. And from my understanding, that will be staged in too. It's not like I just give you 10% right now. Secondly, then they'll pay 15% tax each year. But the point behind it is, you will be able to generate substantial amount of business. What happens is your GDP goes up. That means there's a much bigger tax base. If there's a bigger tax base, then that means we're going to have a lot more money to spread out in education and all the different areas we want to go. We can reduce our deficit, and it all can be done through, this is an awful, awful good way to approach it. And I know Carl Icahn was on today, and I'm not a total fan of his since I've been in the investment business, but the point behind it is, he even said, you know what, this is a great idea, because why are we leaving $2.1 trillion over there? And the reason is, they don't want to come here because our tax rates are too high.
Right.
Let's bring the money home, let's put it to work, let's get our jobs moving, and let's get this national defense and our military build up.
And it's real easy to figure out why that works. Why getting those $2 trillion back here when a company reinvests the money into their own company, which is what they're going to do with it, because they're not going to sit on it.
Of course not.
When they reinvest the money in their own company, they are growing their company. What happens when they grow their company? They hire people.
Right.
It just makes sense.
I think, Dave, for you, because I know you're a tax advocate, certainly. What the great thing again is about Trump, he's bringing this to the forefront because this is too much money sitting abroad that needs to be here to generate the jobs, and we got to get this into a major discussion, which we have not had.
A lot of that money's being used abroad. To what? To make money over there. To make money over there.
Create jobs over there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's happening.
And not only would that money, which is with U.S. domestic with international corporations based in the United States, would it come back, but then you would also attract investment dollars back into the
Instead of
United
the money
States.
leaving, it comes home.
Exactly.
And if our military is superior, and if our country is prosperous, guess where all the people are going to want to go? I think I want my corporation in the United States.
Right. And see, the administration's solution to, and by the way, the number of corporations leaving the United States because of the tax situation has gone up over this year. And that's in spite of the new rules from the Treasury trying to block what they call inversions. Inversions are when a corporation either buys or sells itself to a foreign corporation in order to relocate in that country to pay a lower tax rate. And guess who's real good at figuring out how to do that? The guy who wanted to pay higher taxes, what was his name? Warren something?
Oh, yeah, Warren.
You remember that Burger King deal?
Yeah.
The Burger King deal?
Yeah, the oil man.
Right.
The train man.
Right. So this is and I think this is smart politically for Trump, too.
I do, too. I think it's a great move because he'll be able to explain this in simplistic terms to the average American, too.
And, as I said, it's causing people out there who are writing him off and characterizing him as a clown and a joke. It's a little bit harder now because this is a legitimate tax plan. And so he has, in a way, I was kind of disappointed he'd come out, solidly for the fair tax or something like that. But this is actually
a step in the right direction.
It is.
It's not.
It is, and it's also, it shows that he's politically astute. That these career politicians who supposedly know how to play the game the best have just been shown by Moby Dick that he can do it as well.
And how do you pander to the low-income voter?
You give them a tax break.
Tell them they don't have to pay income tax.
Yeah. That's the end of it I don't like. But if that's what it takes to get that corporate rate jacked down, the benefits from that would, I believe, outweigh.
I think so, because he's actually attracting two different areas of his voters, right?
Voting
the people
blocks.
that would So you got the low-income folks, and then you have the corporations. Two very powerful groups
of
people. So
this is, other than the
he's not an idiot.
No, he's not, and he's proved that with this plan. Other than the lowering that corporate tax rate, this plan could have come from Ronald Reagan or George W. Bush.
Right. The thing I like, too, is, again, the follow-up by Icahn. I don't know if this was, set in stone before he announced it, but the point is, here's a guy endorsing it. And again, the American public isn't, I don't know if they like discussing taxes, so you got to keep it so simple. And this is pretty simple.
Pretty basic.
And will this be the full plan? All of us probably believe, if he's elected, it won't be perfectly like this, because you got to get through all the bumps.
But he knows he knows the areas to push.
Right.
He wanted to eliminate, he wants to, as a part of this, eliminate that carried interest thing.
That's the point, which I'm 100% against that.
See, this is...
That tax will generate a heck of a lot of jobs because there's more capital and people don't have to destroy their businesses.
See, the sort of the political genius in this plan, there's no one part of it that couldn't be sold to the public and to Congress. And it could really put the Democrats on the spot. Because, hey, as you said, it has, if you want to call it a giveaways to the
free ride.
But that's once again, that's the sort of the political genius in the thing.
I know,
that's what makes it workable.
What are they going to do?
That's what makes it workable.
Yeah,
exactly.
What are they going to do? Which, we don't want, but,
And by the way, last night at the Spaghetti Eating Challenge, I guess we sort of had our own little informal poll. We didn't even know it was happening, but it was happening right in front of our very eyes. Because Scott Miller of My Liberty Threads brought in some bumper stickers that he has. And by the way, folks, if you want to get these, go to mylibertythreads.com. And he didn't bring them in for all the Republican contestants. He brought them in for, I think, 5. He brought them in for Trump, Carson, Cruz, Rubio, and Rand Paul. And they went out in this order: Trump, Carson, Cruz, and at the end of the night, they were all gone.
Oh, wow.
And almost all of the Rand Paul and the Marco Rubios were still there. And so we had our own sort of informal little play.
I'm a bumper sticker guy, and I agree with you because I didn't pick up a couple of them, and yet I like the Trump. And
they were cool looking stickers too, by the way.
The Rand Paul, though, we could put it somewhere. I don't know. It might be in my posterior or something like that.
In the men's room somewhere.
Yeah, we can find a place for it.
So we'll be keeping up with it. By the way, Trump's going to be on O'Reilly, the O'Reilly Factor tonight. And so,
they made up now. Everybody's goody.
O'Reilly was on Gallagher this morning, Mike Gallagher's show. He's got a new book out, Killing Reagan, which sounds very interesting. And I must say that Gallagher did a far better interview than some guys on a different channel yesterday. But Gallagher, during the interview, they were talking about Trump. I didn't know this, but Trump and O'Reilly have been friends for 30 years. They go to baseball and basketball games together, and they have quite a friendly relationship. And so he was saying it's going to be kind of tough tonight because I've got to be the O'Reilly that I'm always with everyone else. So that's what we're going to get tonight. So if you want to tune in for that, we shall check it out. But David Leavitt's been doing a lot of great things, saving tax dollars here locally. So David, you actually the Seminole County commissioners credit you with saving the county some money that they didn't want to save the county themselves.
At least one of them openly, yeah. But I think.
Well, tell us what happened.
Well, there's a special taxing district called it's the CRA, and basically they tax businesses along the 1792 corridor, where they say that it's a blighted area. And it's the same tax that they tax all the other businesses, except they take a portion of that tax, put in a special piggy bank, so they can turn around and do something in that corridor with that piggy bank money now. And what they typically have been doing, you heard us talk about it on the show, would be giving it to corporations like Bill Ray Nissan, got $1.7 million. And so
this was to beautify the front of the dealership.
Yeah. And then, this is cold hard cash. This isn't, like a loan or something. This is just grant money. It's the tax money and so instead of...
And it's not a tax break. This is cash money. Given by the county.
Not to be given back.
Right.
Not to be given back. And granted, it's a special little taxing district right there on the 1792 corridor, but still it's not fair to all the businesses on the corridor.
If it all goes to Bill Ray.
Exactly. So,
who ain't hurting, by the way.
Right. So, I've been fighting this, and this is where it really helps. Eventually, your voice gets heard, because when I first started talking about it publicly, I looked like I had 3 eyeballs or something is how they looked at me. But now I'm getting, sort of this recognition and this feedback that, hey, you know what, he's right. We shouldn't be giving this to these companies. So they acknowledged in their meeting a week ago Tuesday that they are no longer going to be giving this CRA money to any company in the corridor. They're going to use it for other things that they're allowed to use it for, which is the taxpayer-owned things.
Like sidewalks, streetlights,
trees, beautification.
Attract businesses and make the place look better that way,
Folks, if he can do that in Seminole County, he can do that in Tallahassee.
I agree.
Dave4House.com. That's the number 4, Dave4House.com.
You want these people fighting for you, and that's great, Dave. You really, what a tribute to you to do that, and the time you spent with no pay, no rewards, anything.
No recognition.
Thank you. Yeah, and and I'll continue doing it.
All right, we'll continue to bring you the show right after this short break.
I'll continue eating spaghetti.